Why do growing businesses love working in Slack? Let's ask Christy at Ari Bikes.
Running things in Slack saves me so much time.
AI summaries save 97 minutes per week. What say you, Rox from Gosney?
Slack helps us build community, it helps us build connection.
Your partners, vendors and customers all in one place. Take us on home, Ashley from Caraway.
If we didn't have Slack tomorrow, I would explode.
Well, let's not let that happen. Visit slack.com/podcast to get 50% off Slack Business Plus.
I had that dream again. My small business needs to hire, but I don't use LinkedIn, and I hire an energy vampire. But also they're a literal vampire. And suddenly my team is spending all their time sharpening wooden stakes and buying bulk silver and rehearsing ancient chants, and then I wake up.
Don't let hiring nightmares ruin your dreams. LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant takes insights from over 1 billion professionals to create a short list of the best fits for you. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/quality. Start hiring today with LinkedIn.
Welcome to 4.0 to Pro, the pickleball podcast that focuses on a single shot, tip, or strategy to improve your pickleball game with every single pocket-sized episode. Our goal is to make you better on the court every time you hear our voices.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of 4.0 to Pro, your pocket-sized pickleball podcast, where we teach you a single shot or strategy every single episode. I'm Michael O'Neill here in Long Beach, California, and I'm not joined by anybody today. It's just me solo. Mircea has been super busy with family over the holiday time, and I didn't want to hose you guys. I wanted to give you what I think is going to be one of the most important episodes you have to listen to this year. By the way, somebody wrote me not long ago and said, do you read that intro off a script? And I do not. I've done it now 100 and whatever times. And those of you who don't know, and maybe you haven't been listening for forever, or you're not an OG, but I've been a full-time podcaster. This is Michael here for, 2012. So that would be 14 years. This is my 14th year being a full-time podcaster. In my real world, I have a show called The Solopreneur Hour, where I interview entrepreneurs. And I've been doing that for a very long time. So we're going to talk, once I tell you about Carbon here, which, by the way, if you haven't gotten your True Foam or your True Foam Wave yet, CRBN, carbonpickleball.com. You get 10% off using the promo code 402P at checkout. The other thing that you may not know, even if you're a Carbon fan, is their soft goods are incredible. They have the best shirts and the best shorts, especially with their Florence Marine collaboration. Kind of their factory, pro gear stuff is the best wicking light material I've ever put on my body. And I've been doing endurance athlete type stuff for, 20 plus. So anyway, we're going to talk this episode about goal setting and really what you can expect out of your pickleball game this year if you put the right work and effort into it. The other thing about this particular episode is I'm not editing it. This is just me and you on the mic, and I'm gonna not edit all the ums and ahs and things like that. And you just get me talking into a microphone. So there you go. And I'm also publishing this on YouTube. So if you want to see me and my face, for some reason, which feels so inefficient to me, because you can just have it on your phone and you can just listen while you drive or whatever, walk the dog. Anyway, let's talk initially as 2026 being a year of being deliberate. So this isn't like, hey, let's play more pickleball this year. No. It's let's be more deliberate about our time playing pickleball. So this isn't exactly like I need to play more, but what we want to do is first play more with intention. We want to play more pickleball with intention. And just having like vague goals, like, oh, I want to get better this year, that's not going to move your rating. That's not going to take you from a 3.5 to a 4.0. It's not going to take you from a 4.0 to a 4.5. What we want to do is start stacking small, repeatable, boring wins. Meaning there's like a particular shot that you struggle with. let's drill it until it starts showing up in your game and you're not struggling with it anymore. But that requires a fair bit of, grounding. And I meant grinding. But I think what we can do is initially, if you're a regularly motivated person, let's set a goal for this year to move 1/2 point in your duper rating up. So if you're a 3.5, let's see you as a 4.0 by the end of the year. If you're a 4.0, let's see you at a 4.5, et cetera, et cetera. If you're very motivated and you really want to do this, I think you can jump a full level. I think you can go from a 3.5 to a 4.5. But you're going to have to tweak this recipe to get you there. And I think that when you hear the recipe I'm going to give you in a moment, it's just going to mean that you want to allocate more time to actual practice and drilling versus open play and rec play. I think the big difference is if you asked me, would you rather drill with someone equally as good or better, or play with a group of people that are equally as good or better, I would say that I want to drill with them. I think that helps a lot more. Getting, 100 reps or 200 reps or 300 reps of backhand dinks with someone who's good and you can go back and forth is so much more valuable than the handful of dinks you'll get in an actual game. So I do think being able to grind that stuff out is what's going to make you way better. I think trying to be too aggressive and thinking like, I'm going to go for a full point, 3.5 to 4.5, that's a big leap. It's very exponential, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means it's going to take, a bit of work. And I think one of the things, it's funny, I don't have any tattoos, but I'm going to be getting one not long from now. The gist of the tattoo is going to be the word patience. And patience, to me, I get impatient on the pickleball court, like during an actual point. If I'm in some sort of dink rally, I might impatiently speed up. When you see the pros play, I'm always struck by how incredibly patient they are. And I think about, I'm watching this point going, oh, I probably would have tried to speed that one up, or that one up, or that one up. And they don't, because they know it's not the right ball to do it. But I think those of us that are working our way up the ladder, we need to learn that. And the only way that gets learned is to do it over and over and over again. When you're in a actual live game environment and rec play, I think there's this notion where you don't want to let your partner down, who could be a stranger. You could have just met them and all of a sudden you're trying to work on a specific thing. And it's just weird. It's a weird dynamic to have to deal with. So to me, that part where we get to just do drilling, it's the way to go. It is the actual way to go. Here's how we do it. Here's the how. I'd like you to take 30%. Let's start with 30% of your allocated pickleball time, and we'll say 25 to 35%, whatever it is, and drill in that day. So if you get to play 3 times a week, one of those 3 days is drilling. If you play 4 times a week, one of those 4 times is drilling. If you play 5, you might consider 2. You have to do this. There's no other way to get better at pickleball other than to practice and drill. Now, if you don't have anybody around to drill with, you could do a combo platter of focusing on different videos to watch and finding a wall to work out on. Because you can get a lot of dinks and a lot of speed ups and a lot of resets from a wall. It's not as good as the real thing. So ideally, you find a drill partner. And I do think that there are people, some of which listen to this show. And I don't know, maybe I can set something up where if someone's like, oh, I'm really looking for a drill partner in Spokane, Washington or something, that we can figure out some online way to do that. But I think a lot of that stuff exists already in, the Swish apps and the Team Reach and things like that. And you can put in fact, it even works in the Duper app and the UTR app. You can put your rating in all of those things and start trying to find people to play with around you. The other thing that you could do if you don't have a regular group is try to figure out where in your area the good players play. And you can go there and literally stick something on the wall. Hey, I'm looking, and the other thing is Facebook groups. Facebook groups are really, really good for connecting with other players. So if you need somebody to drill with, it's up to you to find them, but you hopefully can find somebody that is as motivated as you and is willing to say, this one particular day a week is the day that we can drill together. Because I guarantee you that nothing will improve your game quicker than that. Not possible. The one thing is, if you're just one of those people, and I don't know, maybe we have a few that listen to this show, but the whole point of this show, the whole intention of this show, in the name, 4.0 to Pro, it hopefully inspires people to be moving through that Duper ladder, or it catches them as they are already moving up that Duper ladder. And these are, you guys should be the types that want to drill and want to get better. I don't know a lot of people that listen to teaching podcasts that teach anything that aren't actively trying to get better. So let's just assume that we're all trying to get better at this. And you just need to find somebody to sync with where you guys can get better together. When you drill, we want to do a couple things. Number one, you always want to work on, let's say, one technical skill and then one decision-making pattern. Technical skill might be a backhand flick or a backhand roll or a slice dink or a cross-court, third shot caddy corner drop, like a cornhole type drop. You could work on the cradle drop, which is that backhand scooping slice drop you a lot of times have to do when you're on the left side. There's just a bunch of individual things that when you think of your own game, like, I get caught doing XYZ pretty often. Or if I get into a dink rally, I only last 3 or 4 before I hit one into the net. Or my serves aren't too consistent, or whatever it is. You understand? So that's the first thing. The second thing is one decision-making pattern. And what that means is, this is always great when you can drill with 2 people, so 3 people total on the court, where you get into an actual real game scenario and you have to make a choice. For instance, and this is where you might be able to integrate the technical skill with the decision-making pattern. So I'm in we're both on the left side, we're both righties, doing a cross-court backhand dink drill with my partner. And we're going back and forth and we're trying to hit 30 in a row or whatever. Well, if you have started to develop that flick, that backhand flick, this is the perfect occasion to use it. And you can either get one of those soccer dummies, or you can stick a ladder or something for that to represent the person directly in front of you. So if your drill partner gives you a slightly high ball, this is a great time to drop that wrist and flick it straight ahead and see if you can tag what would have been their partner. That's a decision-making pattern. This is where we talk about lowering the X. So as you start getting into drilling and actively knowing where your body and your paddle is on the court, I know that sounds kind of weird, but you start getting a sense of what works in what scenarios and what situations. And the X represents, when I say lowering the X represents the height of the ball that you can execute this particular shot with. So let's stick with the backhand flick. So this is a slightly higher cross-court dink here on the left-hand side. the ball ends up a foot maybe or 18 inches below the net, or at least net level, and you're going to want to drop that wrist and flick it straight ahead. The pros can do that like ankle height. Mari Homburg can pretty much do that from any height on the court. That is her X. Her X is like 2 inches above the ground. For most of us, the X is net height, or maybe 6 inches below net height, and we can pull that shot off. What you want to start working on as you drill is lowering the X. How low can I hit that ball successfully in the court? It won't always be in the court, because very often you're just interested in tagging that person right in front of you, which is why if you want to set up like a soccer dummy or an inflatable balloon or whatever the heck you have over there, you can start working on that. But that is a pattern that once you start recognizing it, you can execute on it. If you guys know that shot, the Houdini, which is where, the ball bounces, same scenario, backhands, cross court. The ball bounces and you're about to hit that nice slice backhand dink, and then you just flip your paddle around and hit kind of this inside out forehand right down the line. That's something that I know how to recognize that pattern for. I'm looking for a very specific backhand dink and a very specific scenario in my mind, especially if I'm facing a lefty right in front of me, which happens pretty often. They struggle with that particular ball because it really puts them in the wrong spot. It puts them right in that forehand chicken wing. So I'll hunt for that. In the course of a game, I will look for that scenario because I know I can execute that shot in that particular scenario. But there's no way you know that unless you drill it a bunch. So you have to have a shot, and they don't have to be the same thing. You don't have to just be working on the flick and then do this. The scenario can be different. It can be you coming up and making sure you split step for a third. This is something you do in 7-Eleven or in skinny singles. I really love skinny singles for at the end of the drill session, by the way. And if you guys go back, we've outlined a fabulous drill session a few months ago. So definitely check that out. Let's go for 60 to 90 minutes on this drill session. You should be sweating. You should be sweating more than typically you would in a regular game. So let's focus on that. And that let's start there for 2026. I'm going to commit to making 30% of my play on the court a drill session. If you want to get one of those big jumps and go over a full point, it's probably going to have to be 50%. I know I've heard rumors that the pros, if they play, they don't play, they play every day, but I bet you if they play 7 days a week, that 4 or 5 of those 7 days is drilling, like full stop. Or the drilling happened for 2 hours in the morning and now they're playing rec. But it happens every day. Drilling happens pretty much every day for a pro. The next thing it's going to hyper accelerate your progress in 2026 is you gotta film yourself. Film your drill sessions, film your play sessions. There's an app, what's the app called? Swing Vision. And I think there's a few other ones now. The cool thing about Swing Vision, which they don't endorse us or anything, but I've used it, is that when you play with Swing Vision, it cuts out all the in-between points automatically. It uses AI. And it pretty much basically starts recording when you serve, and then when the point's over, it stops, and it goes to the next. So these matches that are, a game in particular that could take like 25 minutes, but there's only 13 minutes of actual play time, it'll just give you that 13-minute video. It's pretty cool. So Swing Vision is probably worth it. You can do it old school way, but you have to film yourself. You just have to. There's so many cheap tripods that hold cell phones. These phones we have are beautiful 4K recording devices. They don't even need to be 4K. You don't need to get too fancy with it. You just have to watch, because I guarantee you, the thing you think you're doing, you're not. And the thing you don't think you're doing, you are. You just are. I'm not running through the transition zone when I come up. Yeah, you are. Here it is. You just did it 6 times in a row. Oh, damn. I thought I was split stepping more. I remember a few years ago, I was working on a serve, was it? Maybe a forehand drive. And I was just trying to tweak. I think my backhand had gotten better than my forehand. And I was trying to tweak it a little bit. So I filmed my practice session. I had a ball machine. I was just filming my practice session. I went back and looked and I said, oh my God, my paddle prep was so far off of where I thought it was and how it felt. And then I started like dropping my paddle right next to my right knee when I was waiting for the ball to come to hit a forehand drive. And all of a sudden, and I stayed down, I stayed compact, and I stayed low. And all of a sudden, my drives were 10x better. And I only would have known that by watching the film on it. I did the film watch in real time. I did it literally like while I was at the court. I went, oh, that is not what I thought I was doing. But now if you play with me, my forehand drive can be downright diabolical sometimes. I can be it's very accurate. It can be very hard and a ton of topspin. And that only happens from developing it initially with this film session and then refining. One thing it does is, I'm not sure if it helps you remove ego, but it definitely can bruise it a little when you go, oh, I don't look like I thought I did on the court. I'm not nearly as fluid. And maybe I need to lose 15 pounds. Sorry, that was my own self-reflection. Anyway, so what you want to look for. So let's say now you've recorded a hour-long drill session or rec play. These are the kind of things you want to look for as you review. It's always nice to review on your TV too. So you can connect your phone to your TV or, AirPlay it or whatever. You want to look for breakdowns in footwork. This is typically 90% of why we hit errant balls in pickleball. As we've discussed ad nauseum on this show, it's usually a footwork breakdown. You're moving through a shot. You're lifting when you hit the shot. You're not fully planted and have a stable base as you swing through the ball. It's probably in the 90 percentile of why people make mistakes. The other one is mostly decision making, and that could encapsulate not only just choosing the wrong shot to hit, but also thinking that you should be hitting a particular technical shot that you don't have the skill for yet. That's also a decision. An example of that I have done and still struggle with is I have a good 2E backhand topspin roll dink. I can plant down and get my stance nice and wide, and I can really get into a groove and hit them very well. Unfortunately, at a point, they weren't consistent enough that I could bring them into a game without popping the ball up. So if I'm in a tournament type game and I'm trying to put pressure on the other guys, I'm trying to hit this roll, and now all of a sudden I pop this ball up 2 feet above the net, and my partner just gets shellacked because I hit a bad shot. The reason why is because that shot was undercooked. It wasn't ready to be in a tournament situation yet. Okay, for rec, I don't mind if my buddy gets cooked because I messed up a dink. But in a tournament, especially a pro tournament where we pay hundreds of dollars, it's not unusual for, if I play a senior pro tournament, it's like I pay $450 for it. It's a lot. It can be very expensive and not the time to be working out stuff. It's not a good time to have a new paddle or try to finish that shot. You want to finish that stuff in your drill sessions. So you want to look at the film, footwork first, paddle prep would be the second. So I always like to tell my students that I want your paddle to be prepped before the ball crosses over the net towards you. Right? So if they hit, let's say if you're at the baseline, they hit what would be a forehand drive. I want your body already turned. I want your paddle back or down and ready for that ball before it even hits.
Welcome to our ugly home.
Reddit is back for a historically hideous season.
It's our 100th ugly house. This place is mayhem. That is impressive.
And if these walls could talk,
Do you cry a lot?
I do.
they'd have a lot to say.
What in God's name is this pit?
Don't get too close.
No, if you see the show, I'm scared of cat.
Ugliest House in America season premiere Wednesday at 8 on HGTV.
The ground. I want your paddle to be back. So by the time it gets to you, the shot's halfway done. All you have to do is swing forward. Paddle prep is huge, not only in pickleball. I picked this up from racquetball, which is a much faster sport. And if you didn't have your racket prepped, you were toast. You really were toast. So we talk a lot in pickleball about staying compact and not having these huge swings. Part of that is because pickleball has come back so fast, the processing time that we have to execute a point, which is bizarre that people don't talk about it as much. It's the big thing between like, oh, tennis and doesn't have any skill. It's like, dude, the amount of time it takes a tennis ball to go from your racket to their racket and back to your racket, I could hit 4 times already a pickleball in that amount of time. Bam, 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 bam. And it's like, it's just a different world of processing speed. You're not going to be able to process all that stuff at once. So you want to have that paddle prepped. The prep should be done, especially as you get older. Have that thing ready to rock as you age, because I'm telling you what, if that ball gets to you and you're then just starting to backswing and then go back and try to hit the ball, it's going to end up inside out or a shank. It just is. It's just we don't have enough time. So the other one is the final one. So footwork, look at footwork. Look at late paddle prep, look at paddle prep. And the third thing is, what shots do you select when you're under stress? Like, where do you go? What's your default? Do you just whip a ball up? Are you, I play with some of these guys that are tennis players that they don't love to drop. They just don't. They're better at drives. They're good at drives. But when it comes time to advance towards the kitchen, they'll hit a lob because they don't have the skill set to drop a ball. And they kind of panic and they lob their way out. And dude, those lobs, dude and dudettes, those lobs are out 60% of the time. They're too long. Now, the other 40 are great, diabolical, and perfect balls, but you're not going to win. You're not winning with a 40% win rate. I'm sorry. It's just not. So what are you doing? What you'll see is you'll get into a point and you might start seeing a pattern as you start watching. Oh God, when they go to my left foot, this is the ball I continue to hit, and they just put it right away. An example of this would be left side, same scenario, left side, cross court, backhand dinks. They swing you really wide. And now you're kind of off the court. You've got to turn your back to get that ball. You've got one safe spot for that ball, and it's directly in front of you with a dead dink close to the net as possible. That's your one spot. You try to go cross court. I tried to tell somebody this the other day. One of my resolutions is to stop giving tips to people that don't ask for it. But I just saw this dude do it 3 times. They were really getting him wide, and he kept trying to go all the way back to that player, the diagonal player from him, and he would just pop it up right in the middle, and the guy would just crush it. And finally, when the game was over, I said, you had one safe spot there that you could hit it. You know how they were putting it away? Yeah. And I said, that's your one safe spot because it's really hard to get it cross court. Oh, well, and he just made some excuse why he always hits it perfectly cross court. And this one game was the anomaly, the 3 times in a row that he tried this and they pulverized him. So I'm like, all right, that happens. Not a big deal. Film, get it down, review it. You'll get into a rhythm with it, and I think you'll end up loving the results from that. There is no greater jump in pickleball this year for you. There's not. Just go right now. In fact, I'll link some stuff up. Do I have time to do that? Maybe I'll try to link some stuff up for you guys in the show notes of this. Just a tripod that, mounts your phone, that kind of thing. And some of them hook on the fence that you can just kind of hook. It's really cool. Anyway, I got a few more things. The next thing I want you to do this year is I want you to play a few tournaments. If you've only ever done rec play, I want you to register and play at least 1 or 2 local tournaments and then 1 national tournament. I prefer the APP. I think they're nicer. I think the whole vibe is a little better, but the PPA as well is where all the pros are. You can see all the people you see on TV everywhere. You can see them play live. Have a look at the PPA calendar. Have a look at the APP calendar. See if there's something around. It's such a fun trip. If you can find a buddy or your tournament partner and say, ooh, let's go to Vegas for the blah, 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 or let's go to San Diego or Florida or whatever, you should definitely do that. It's just a blast it's not only a blast, but what a fun vacation idea where you're going there, you've got all your stuff. It makes you feel like a big shot. 'Cause you got all your pickleball gear with you. You're there singularly focused. It's really, really fun. So I would highly recommend to register for 1 national tournament and then get your chops together with a few local ones. Start really local, like the ones that are at your club if you've never done one before, and then expand to a regional tournament. We have one here in California called CAPA, C-A-P-A, California Pickleball Association. They do a tremendous job. Their tournaments are so good. They're so well run. They're so fun. They give you shirts and socks and swag, and they've got food. And it's just, when you get to the bigger ones, the PPAs of the world, the APPs, they're very expensive. They don't swag you out, really. You've got to go buy everything. You know, they're not in the business of spending a lot of money on their competitors. They're getting 1,100 entries, but local tournaments are way more fun for that, and regional ones as well. One more reason to have a Facebook group or something like that if you don't know where those tournaments are. And by the way, what else is cool is if you are like, oh yeah, I'm a 3.5 or I'm a 4.0, and you go and enter a 4.0 tournament, you crush everybody. You might be cuspy. You might be a cuspy 4.5, or you go to 4.0 and you get annihilated. You go, oh geez, all right, I'm going to work on that. So I start podium in this bracket, whatever this is, So it's really, really good. What we want to do with these tournaments, especially the early local ones, you want to be collecting data. That's the important part. You want to just collect data from these tournaments. One thing that no amount of prep will prepare you for, no amount of drilling will prepare you for, it's a way better way to send that sentence, is the nerves for a tournament. You can get really nervy. My first tournament I ever played, it was singles. I think I'd been playing pickleball for like a month. But I was, a tennis player. So I was pretty good out of the gates within a week or so. I'm like, oh yeah, all right, I can do this. I did not expect to be so nervous about when I was about to serve. And I missed 28. I faulted 28 times in my first match. And I still almost won. I lost like 11-7, 11-9 or something like that in my first match. And that was with 27 faults. 27. That is crazy. That's more than I would do now in 9 tournaments, 10 tournaments. That's crazy. In total tournaments, not just one game. Anyway, so yeah, you're not prepared to get the yips and to get nervous, but very specifically, that's why we drill so much, because when you go back to that drill session where you've been sitting with a basket of balls, you got a water bottle stacked in the corner of the other court, and you're just cranking serves, and you're trying to hit the corners and paint the corners and become accurate with your serves, and you get into a very specific routine when you're serving, that's the thing that gets you out of the yips in a tournament. That's what calms your nerves, because you just look down and go, okay, I'm going to go through my routine. I'm going to bounce it twice. I'm going to grip the paddle in this exact grip. My preparation before I bounce the ball or before I swing is here. My body weight's forward, and you just commit to it. And once you do it a few times, you realize you've drilled this so many times that you can fall back on that routine. And that's why we do it. It's very, very important. Now, win or lose, especially these first couple, I want you to be filming these. We've talked about that. And you really want to do a post-mortem, not only with your partner, but with yourself. What broke down first? Was it my fitness level? Were my shots wrong? Was I unprepared for the intensity? You'll figure it out. There's going to be a few things that, this thing worked or works with my group of people, and man, did it not work at all in the tournament. When I got on court, it was like March of last year, and I was already whipped. We had done the NPL tryouts, and they were intense, and 2 days, and it was second day. We'd played, I'm used to playing for an hour or two. This was like 7 hours of playing per day. So my legs were just destroyed. I already have knees that are crazy. Anybody a knee surgeon? And it was like, we were done. I was like, hey, look, I gave this thing my all. Went across the street to the Mexican restaurant, had a couple of margaritas. Was feeling pretty good. That, loosens the joints a bit. I come back in exhausted, tight, sitting down. I'm already getting sore. And now I've got a pretty solid bit of tequila in me, a pretty solid buzz. And these tier 1 senior pros, big guys like Mircea, were like, hey, you want to play a game? And that's a dream to get a chance to do that. It would be like playing with, J.W. Johnson and Georgia and Anna Bright. You want to come in? So, all right, we'll see how this goes. Meanwhile, I'm destroyed and pretty buzzed. Not a good time for me to come in. So whatever. I got in there, and it was so different than anything I'd ever experienced on a pickleball court. Like, not only did the shots come back, the ones that you think are going to work, everything like, all right, dude, what's up, bro? I'm about to put this right in your left nipple. Fire a spot. It comes back with such ferocity. It's so quickly that I couldn't even react. It was by me before I realized that the guy even hit it. And I went, oh, I don't have any ammo against these guys. So this is not going to be how I would normally play. I can't catch them. They can read my paddle. They can read my body positioning before I even know what I'm going to hit. So that was really cool, but it was like, oh, I see where the gap is, and this is the gap I have to span if I want to end up in tournaments against these guys. So, whatever. It is what it is, and that's what sport is altogether. So when you watch this film from your tournament, what broke down first? Was it fitness? Was it your nerves? Was it your patterns? Whatever it was, look to address it. And this is something I think that, again, isn't addressed enough. I'm going to do this one really quickly. Very often, we expect that pickleball is the thing that's going to get us in shape. Whereas I think if we switch that mindset and say, I want to get in shape for pickleball, you will see a drastic improvement in your game. The one thing that I think you can do today, and I'll link this up as well if you want. I got a couple links coming from Amazon, is put a jump rope in your pickleball bag. And if you want to buy two, mine tends to live in the car with me, but have one for your daily drill. If you can start jumping rope, I've got this great YouTube video that I follow that's like it's like a HIIT routine, high intensity interval training with jump rope. And it's like you do 30 seconds of jump rope and then, 20 push-ups and then 30 seconds of jump rope and then squats and 30 seconds of jump rope. And it goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I want to say I do like 2 or 3 rounds of it. It's 15 minutes. I'm soaked. I'm sweating. Like, it is a real workout. And I do remember about 3 weeks to a month into doing it, I remember thinking, God, my legs and calves and quads and feet all feel so strong. You've reinforced all of those muscles, and you get a lot of burst on the court from it. So throw a jump rope in your bag. Otherwise, if you're someone who's a regular gym person, think about a lot of good plyometric exercises you can do. There's tons of stuff out there for tennis. So you can always, that's what I do, is I'll just go online and look up like tennis footwork drills or something like that. And you can see the kinds of drills that we really need to do as we are playing pickleball. So we really reward stability. This is where people, twist ankles and tear knees and Achilles and things like that. This jump rope, these plyometric exercises will greatly improve your chances of not injuring yourself, especially if over the age of 40 or 45. And so you want to, this is us aging smarter and not harder, basically. And then you really, I think, want to focus on your footwork. If you haven't already, this is the first thing we talked about in the film study. Just focus on your footwork. Do hopscotch if you have to. Do these tennis footwork drills because they really, really matter. I forgot to mention this before, but I love storing all of this stuff. I have an iPhone, so I use Apple Notes for all of this. I track my practice sessions, and I'll make a little log like, oh, this felt good, this felt bad. And if you combine that with the video, and you can even drag and embed those videos within the Apple Note. It's one of the Apple Note app, by the way, is one of the most powerful apps on the iPhone that people barely know how to use. But you can throw that in right in the app. You can throw your drill session in, so you can look back and see all these videos in one spot as you go through. You can also do it with a Google Doc. There's tons of ways to do this using AI and Zapier and If This Then That and all kinds of different apps that take the heavy lifting off of, I'm going to transfer it from my camera and then edit it down to XYZ and then get the thing out. You don't need to do all that. Like, it is very easy to do this these days, but you got to do it. So you just have to do it. Finally, mental game. I challenge you this right now as you listen to this podcast. Stop thinking of yourself as a rec player that plays tournaments. Okay? Start thinking like a competitive player who trains. You're a competitive pickleball player who trains. It's going to lock you into a totally different mindset because playing tournaments, you can just look at it and go, oh, it's going to be so much fun, which it is. Don't get me wrong. But winning a tournament that you've paid for is more fun than losing a tournament that you've paid for. So let's have fun and win. I feel like that's a really good combo platter. If you embrace the suck, one of my buddies runs this drummer camp, Mike Johnston, and that's the first thing they do is they give you like one of those Lance Armstrong wrist bracelets that says embrace the suck. And that's what this is. The first cue of this year, Q1, is going to be sucky as you go through this process. And then what's going to happen is you'll have been working on a particular shot. Let's say it's a two-handed backhand. You're working on your two-y. In March, let's say you started drilling it today. In March, you're going to be in the middle of a point, and all of a sudden you're going to rip a two-y down the line and go, oh my God, it just showed up. It's crazy how that happens. But that's exactly how it happens. It will just show up as you continue to drill it and start understanding the scenarios in which you need to deploy it. It just will show up. And man, is that cool, especially if the person you drill with happens to be on the court at the time. Maybe you're partners or whatever. And man, is it cool. Oh, did you see that? I just did the two-y. And they're like, whoosh, it's a high five moment. Really, really cool. Anyway, so here's your challenges this week. Number one, I want you to set a goal for your rating. If you're a 3.0, you want to be a 3.5. If you want to be a 3.5, you're a 4.0, 4.0, 4.5, etc. Okay? Number two, I want you to set and establish a drill day. Pick a date or pick a time and pick a day. Repeatably, if possible. If you can always do it Tuesday at 7 o'clock, do it Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Set that up. Third, find and target your first or multiple, whatever, tournament. If you've not played a tournament before, pick a date, and that's going to be your date you're going to work towards. If you play a bunch, get yourself a calendar. If you've never played a major, get yourself to a PPA or an APP tournament. That's what you want to do this week. That's going to plug you in and get you motivated. The other thing we're going to do is I want you to throw a jump rope in your bag. Okay? That's how you should warm up. Get there, drop your bag. I do 100. I'll do 100 jump ropes, which, by the way, it'll get your blood flowing. It'll get your legs going. It's really good. It's a really, 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 really good exercise. If for whatever reason I don't have my bag with me, like I have my little sling bag, I'll do jumping jacks. I'll do 100 jumping jacks, and it has a similar effect. Start filming. So I'm going to link this stuff up on Amazon. Grab this little tripod. You can grab a little soccer dummy guy if you want to, and start filming yourself. You'll have to get that Swing Vision app or whatever it is. I think there's a few of them now. The bottom line is you don't need more talent, okay? You need a plan. This is a plan. We need to plan for this year, okay? So, let's see. I want you guys, if you can, if anybody wants to, I will high five anybody that writes. If you write me at 4.0 to Pro on Instagram or send me a message, you can go to picklehelp.com and just send a message through the form. Maybe I shout you out. I don't know. I'm not sure what it looks like, but I will high five you. It will be virtual most of the time, but I will give you a go team go. You can also email 40topro@gmail.com. It's all spelled out. FOUROHTOPRO. That's it. I thought this was going to be like a 20, and it's 45. So I can never bust Mircha's balls for making us run so long all the time. It's my fault. But this is a pretty epic show, if I'm being honest. Anyway, there you go, guys. I'll see if I can get ChatGPT to put this into a nice little thing, a bullet point thing for you guys to do. And that'll do it. All right. You guys keep on rocking. Happy 2026. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to 4.0 to Pro. For more tips, find us on Instagram at 4.0 to Pro. If you have a pickleball question, submit it at picklehelp.com. Now, get out there and dominate. But don't forget to have fun.